You ever witnessed a teacher crying and breaking down? What was the cause? Did you or other students or teachers do or say anything? This was probably one of the most horrific scenes I've ever witnessed. Our usual gym teacher was on maternity leave, so in her place was a teacher's assistant, a rather mousy and timid young woman. She was perfectly nice, but for some reason, you could never connect with her on a personal level. It wasn't due to her lack of social skills. There was just something about her that put everyone off. So naturally, no one ever listened to her. Kids can be cruel. And there was this really nasty kid in my class, a little doughy ball of lard, just constantly walking around spouting self-entitlement and demanding everyone's attention. Obviously, there are some deeper-seated issues there. Anyway, it was first period, and we had gym. Now gym class in the morning stinks. I mean, I don't really have to explain why only the morning class always had to set up the hall for all the other classes using the gym that day. No, sure, it doesn't seem like a big deal, but when you're a preteen adolescent who just wants to sleep all the time, it's a pretty tall order. So, Doey just sat on the side and didn't really help or anything. He just watched and sat on his ass, laughing at all the other kids. The gym technician approached him and asked him to start helping. He just kept arguing with her. Then, out of nowhere, probably in some lame attempt to stall, he asked her, "Why did you become a teacher?" She looked at him and answered straight, well, because I love sitting around being sassed by a bunch of prima donnas with no respect, of course. I watched. Yeah, boom. You tell the little fat fuck. He retorted with, "So, you like kids? Do you have any of your own?" She shook her head and said, "No, I don't." And, out of nowhere, the little shit had memorized the entire quote from that one South Park episode where Cartman is appointed a nanny. And my jaw just dropped. "You're sterile, is that it?" "No, that's too convenient of an excuse. The truth is, nobody ever wanted to have babies with you. Isn't that it? Always the mom's maid and never the mom? It must be hard on you, knowing that the years are ticking away, your friends are all getting married, and all the while your uterus is slowly shriveling away, drying up, becoming totally worthless." The entire class could not believe what they just heard. And suddenly she dropped to the floor and started crying her eyes out, almost screaming almost screaming. For a good 5 minutes, she didn't look up. None of us knew what to do, really, until one of the students called the head teacher and told them what had happened. He was called to his office, and we all ran and sat outside the door to listen in. I don't think I've ever heard someone scream that loud in my entire life. We were all in hysterics. At one point, the receptionist told us to get away from the door, but when we explained to her who was in there, she left us to it and ended up listening in as well. Everyone hated that kid. He got what was coming to him and so much more. He was immediately expelled. Apparently, he's in prison now. I saw it coming. And, actually, the teacher he humiliated is now living on the north side of town with my old geography teacher, and they have a kid. So, we're all super happy for her.